Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold discussions with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Al Nahyan to meet on wide range of issues. Crown Prince to also call on President Draupadi Murmu. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will attend the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. Also expected to hold bilateral meetings with counterparts from GCC member countries. Venezuela opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez granted asylum in Spain, vows to continue to fight for democracy. Mercado says his life was in danger in Venezuela. At least 48 people killed after a truck carrying travelers crashes head-on with a tanker in north-central Nigeria. In Pakistan, thousands of supporters of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan protest in Islamabad, call for his swift release. World number one, Jannik becomes first Italian to win the US Open. Beats Taylor Fritz as US fans wait for the end of a 21-year drought continues. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, arrived in New Delhi on Sunday evening on an official visit to India. He was received by Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, and was accorded a ceremonial welcome. This is his first visit to India as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. He will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday and will hold discussions on a wide range of areas of bilateral cooperation. The Crown Prince is also scheduled to call on President Draupadi Murmu and visit Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Riyadh, the capital and the largest city of Saudi Arabia, to take part in the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. During the visit, he is expected to hold bilateral meetings with foreign ministers from GCC member countries. India and the Council enjoy a deep and multifaceted relationship in areas including political, trade and investment, energy cooperation, cultural and people-to-people ties. On day one of the visit, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited the Saudi National Museum and King Abdulaziz Foundation for Research and Archives in Riyadh. The minister's visit is also iconic given the visit to this place that brought out India's deep historical connect that now serves as a foundation to develop a strong contemporary relationship. On the second leg of the visit, External Affairs Minister will travel to Germany on 10th and 11th of September. This will be his third visit as a minister to Berlin. Both India and Germany share a robust strategic partnership, and Germany is one of India's prominent trading partners and among the largest FDIs. Also, the External Affairs Minister will thereafter travel to Switzerland for an official visit on 12th and 13th of September. Let's get you latest on Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. Monday is the last date for withdrawal of candidature for polls across 26 Assembly constituencies in the second phase. Over 300 candidates have filed nomination for 26 Assembly constituencies, which are going to polls in the second phase of the three-phase Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. Polling for this phase will be held on 25th of this month. As the second phase of polls approaches, political activities are intensifying across Jammu and Kashmir, with campaigns and rallies getting underway. Meanwhile, an infiltration bid from across India-Pakistan border was foiled in Jammu and Kashmir. Based on inputs from intelligence agencies and Jammu Kashmir police, Army carried out an anti-infiltration operation during which 2 terrorists were neutralized. A large quantity of warlike stores, including 2 AK-47s and 1 pistol, have been recovered so far. Search operation continues for the remaining terrorists. The third India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem, or the Indus-X summit, will begin in California on Monday. Ahead of the summit, India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has stressed that the Indian and American startups and innovators are important to our national security. In a tweet, he said, and I quote him, India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem, that is Indus-X Summit, gives technology leaders in India and the US a vibrant platform to foster partnerships and collaborations in defense sector. Wishing the event a grand success. The 2-day summit has advanced the commitment to build an innovation bridge under the initiative on critical and emerging technology. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be sharing his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program on Akashvani on 29th of this month. This will be the 114th episode of the monthly radio program. People can submit their ideas and suggestions for the program through the toll-free number, that is 1800-117800. People can also give a missed call on 1922 and follow the link received in SMS to directly give their suggestions to the Prime Minister. People can also share their inputs online via Narendra Modi app or the MyGov open forum. Suggestions for the upcoming episode will be accepted till 27th of this month. The Mann Ki Baat program will be broadcast at 11 a.m. on 29th of September on the entire network of Akashvani and Doordarshan, AIR News website and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of AIR News, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Police force of Assam deployed a few anti-drone systems in the state at fringe areas to repel any rogue drones. CRPF has also tested one anti-drone system and given it to the force deployed in the state. Some more anti-drone guns are being brought to the state by CRPF shortly. The state police has also started the process for procurement of anti-drone system to enhance its security measures and tackle threats from drones effectively. People from all walks of life joined the doctors' protest across Kolkata on Sunday night as part of the Reclaim the Night protest. Meanwhile, West Bengal Governor directed Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to hold an immediate emergency cabinet meeting and discuss the issue. Also, the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear the case related to the alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor at Kolkata's R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital on Monday.
Justice! Justice! Justice!
Experts in Kashmir, Srinagar organized an awareness program focused on the protection and preservation of the water bodies vital to the ecological balance and livelihood of the area. Kashmir is home to numerous lakes, rivers and wetlands, including the famous Dal Lake and Wooler Lake, which are not only important for tourism, but also for supporting local communities with fishing, agriculture and providing potable water. The program also highlighted the need to address pollution. After the launch of the 7th Rashtriya Poshan Mah, a month-long event aimed at improving ground-level nutrition outcomes and encouraging behavioral changes, a number of activities have been reported demonstrating the widespread enthusiasm and commitment to improving nutrition outcomes among the infants and young children. The Forest Department in Bahraich in North India's Uttar Pradesh installed snap cameras at most of the probable habitats of the wolves in the area to monitor and catch them. Currently, more than 40 villages have been injured by attacks from the killer wolves. In this particular operation, 3 cameras have also been installed in Sikandarpur village, around 6 caves which locals believe to be the habitat of the wolves. Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, located in Madhya Pradesh, one of the prime habitats of wildlife in India, conduct elephants picnic. Visitors to the reserve were treated to a rare and enchanting sight of witnessing playful elephants feasting on the fruits and vegetation. The presence of elephants in Bandhavgarh is crucial to the reserve's ecosystem as they help maintain the balance by clearing vegetation, dispersing seeds and creating pathways for other animals.
नहीं मजेदार किया है मालूम।
Aarti was performed at one of the most iconic and revered Ganesh idols in Mumbai, Lal Bagh Raja, on Sunday as part of the annual Ganesh Chaturthi festival. The event attracted millions of devotees on the auspicious day. The mammoth crowd, the intense devotion and the vibrant energy make the Aarti at Lal Bagh Raja a unique spiritual experience. Many devotees waited for hours in long queues in a disciplined way for a glimpse of the idol and to take part in the Aarti. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, in Algeria's elections, incumbent President Abdelmajid Tebboune has been re-elected to the position with an emphatic vote. Mexicans protest against a controversial judicial reform proposal that would see judges elected by popular vote. Spain's Prime Minister Sanchez arrives in Beijing amid China-EU trade dispute.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's continue getting you more international updates. Venezuelan opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez has fled the country after being granted asylum in Spain. Spain's foreign ministry said in a statement, Gonzalez arrived at the Torreon de Ardoz military base with his wife. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Mercado said that Gonzalez left Spain because his life was in danger. The exit of Gonzalez came a week after Venezuelan authorities issued an arrest warrant for him, accusing him of conspiracy and other crimes. President Nicolas Maduro dismissed all such assertions and said that there was a right-wing plot to sabotage his government. Gonzalez, who has challenged President Nicolas Maduro's declaration of victory, said in a recorded message that he trusts that he will continue the fight for the return of democracy in Venezuela from Spain. Exit of Edmundo Gonzalez is seen by the US and the EU and other powers in the region as a winner of the disputed vote. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a post on messaging platform X that Gonzalez remains the best hope for democracy in Venezuela after the former presidential candidate went into exile in Spain. European Union policy chief Josep Borrell said in a statement that no political leader should be forced to seek asylum in another country. Algeria's incumbent president Abdelmadjid Tebboune has been re-elected to the position with an emphatic vote according to the country's electoral authority, but a rival candidate alleged irregularities in the count and fewer than half of the registered voters cast ballots. Official preliminary results gave Tebboune 95% of the vote, enough to avoid a second round runoff with Abdelali Hassani Sheriff getting 3% and Yusuf Okishe getting 2%. The total turnout recorded was 48%. Hassani Sheriff's campaign said that polling station officials had been pressured to inflate results and alleged failures to deliver vote sorting records to candidates' representatives, as well as instances of proxy group voting. Thousands of Mexicans, mainly court employees and law students, protested in the capital on Sunday against a controversial judicial reform proposal that would see judges elected by popular vote. They gathered in Mexico City as the Senate began to debate the initiative pushed by outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador and approved by the lower house, called the Chamber of Deputies, in which the ruling party holds sway. The proposed reform, which would see the election of judges of the Supreme Court and other tribunals as well as magistrates, has sparked diplomatic tensions with the United States, prompted protests by opponents and upset financial markets.
México, escucha. Esta es tu lucha. Señor senador, defiende con valor.
Thousands of supporters of Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan gathered in Islamabad, demanding the release of the former Prime Minister. Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party organized the rally, marking its first show of strength since the disputed elections in February. Imran Khan has been behind bars for more than a year on what his political party calls politically motivated charges. Khan's party had initially planned the protest in July. However, it was postponed when the district administration denied permission. The local administration pushed the event to September 8th. Khan, who lost power in a parliamentary vote of no confidence after falling out with the generals, has said the army has been backing what he calls the politically motivated cases against him, which the military has denied. US Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will encounter each other in their first much-awaited debate on Tuesday morning. Both are preparing for the mega event in the runoff to the election that will take place on November 5th. Here's a report by Akhilesh Suman on how the debate will take place. Take a look.
Our democracy with what Donald Trump has been.
A massive television audience is expected to tune in Tuesday to watch Democrat Kamala Harris, the current US Vice President, go toe-to-toe with Republican former President Donald Trump. Both are calling it the most important election of modern times in the US. In his own style, Trump took a jibe at Kamala Harris a day earlier in North Carolina.
She's right now practicing. Do you know that? She's in Pennsylvania, and she's practicing for the debate. She's locked herself in a room. She's got a lot to learn. She's locked herself in a room, and they have one problem. You know what the problem is? They have MAGA people outside screaming, "We love Trump, we love Trump, we love Trump," and they can't focus. Can you believe it?
The debate, awaited by audience not only in the US but keenly anticipated by people from all over the world, will be hosted by US broadcaster ABC News. The 90 minutes debate will take place at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia at 9 p.m. local time and will be aired live with 2 commercial breaks. The event will be moderated by 2 ABC anchors, but there will be no audience in the room. No questions or topics would be shared in advance with any of the candidates, and mic of one candidate will be muted when the other is speaking. Candidates will not offer any opening statements, but they will be allotted 2 minutes to answer each question, with 2 minutes granted to their opponent for a rebuttal. However, there will be an additional minute for a follow-up, clarification or response against the rebuttal. No pre-written notes will be allowed, but the candidates will be given a pen and a paper to note down and also be given a bottle of water. The candidates will stand behind podiums through the entire length of the debate, and no contacts will be allowed at any point of time, even during the commercial breaks. The debate gets interesting as rating for Trump has increased this week at 48%, surpassing Harris's 47%, according to a New York Times poll. According to AFP, many American voters are looking forward to discussions on policy and values, but they also will be closely watching the candidates' style, composure, and presidential bearing. However, some observers are portraying the debate as one between Kamala the cop versus Gish Galloper Trump. They remember Kamala Harris as a prosecutor in the past and Trump as a convicted felon. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India.
As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate.
In Nigeria, at least 48 people were killed in a fuel tanker truck explosion on Sunday following a collision with another truck in north-central Nigeria. The truck was carrying travelers and cattle, while several other vehicles were also caught up in the accident. Nigeria's state-owned firm NNPC Limited last week hiked the price of the gasoline by at least 39%, the second major increase in more than a year, but shortages have continued, forcing motorists to queue up for hours in the country's major cities and towns. In Kenya, the DNA testing began on Monday to help identify the boys who lost their lives in a deadly school dormitory blaze last week. The nation has also declared 3 days of mourning for the 21 young victims of the grim tragedy that has raised fresh concerns about safety standards at Kenyan schools. The children were burned beyond recognition after flames engulfed their dormitory at the hillside Doordarshan Academy in central Kenya on Thursday night. President William Ruto has ordered a full investigation into the disaster. Flags are due to fly at half-mast on all Kenyan public buildings, military bases and embassies from dawn on Monday to sunset on Wednesday. South Korea convened on Monday an international summit seeking to establish a blueprint for the responsible use of artificial intelligence in the military, though any agreement is not expected to have binding powers to enforce it. More than 90 countries, including the US and China, have sent government representatives to the 2-day summit in Seoul, which is the second such gathering. At the first summit held in Amsterdam last year, the United States, China and other nations endorsed a modest call to action without legal commitment. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has kicked off a 3-day visit to China with Beijing's anti-dumping probe into the European Union pork imports as a backdrop. Sanchez will meet with President Xi Jinping on Monday after a welcoming ceremony at the People's Palace. China and the European Union have been embroiled in a trade dispute after EU regulators announced provisional duties on Chinese-made electric vehicles. In retaliation, China opened anti-dumping investigations into brandy, dairy and pork products from the EU. China has been canvassing the EU's 27 member states to reject the European Commission's proposal to adapt in fact, adopt additional duties on Chinese-made electric vehicles when they vote on it in October. Ecuador's authorities announced on Sunday that they would begin technical trials of the Emra Bey, a floating power barge owned by the Turkish company Car Power Ship. As part of the strategy to address the nation's energy crisis, Ecuador's Deputy Minister for Electricity and Energy said the power barge would undergo testing with the national electricity operator SENES prior to the beginning of its commercial operation. Emri Bey is expected to contribute 100 megawatt to the national interconnected system for a duration of 18 months to help alleviate the country's persistent energy shortage, as per the authorities. The barge is temporarily docked at the former Equigran Pier on the Guayas River in Guayaquil and is slated to initiate commercial operations later this week. East Timor's capital, city of Dili, prepares for the arrival of Pope Francis on Monday. Banners and billboards have filled the streets of the seaside capital, Dili, to welcome the Pope. Now, this is the first Pope visit to Catholic-majority country since it gained independence in 2002. The highlight of the trip is to be a colossal mass, which is expected to draw 700,000 people. And now a quick look at the other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Green technologies highlight the Eye for Berlin 2024, the world's largest trade show of consumer electronics and home appliances, with products that help reduce energy consumption and lower costs, most eye-catching. This year's IFA has brought together over 1,800 global exhibitors and 125 keynote speakers. Marking the 100th anniversary of IFA, the event features global tech giants presenting their cutting-edge innovations. Kenya hosted Harmony for Haiti in Nairobi's Uhuru Park, a concert and cultural festival aimed at raising awareness and funds to support humanitarian initiatives in Haiti. The concert featured performances by top artists, with proceeds going towards protecting vulnerable population, addressing Haiti's severe hunger crisis, and promoting peace and humanity. Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmed Al Sabah issued a decree on Sunday accepting the resignation of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Oil Imad Al Atiqi. Kuwait's Finance Minister and Minister of State for Economic Affairs and Investment, Nora Suleiman Al Fassam, has been appointed as acting oil minister, replacing Al Atiqi. Dozens of dogs were on the waters of Del Mar in San Diego as they took part in the longest-running canine surf competition in the country, as the Helen Woodward Animal Center hosted its 19th annual Dog Surfathon on Sunday at the Del Mar Dog Beach. Dogs wearing costumes and goggles rode their surfboards as owners cheered them on. The Helen Woodward Animal Center was established in 1972 as an organization where people help animals and animals help people. A quick break ahead. You're watching the India News Hour, but after the break, with no concrete solution to the Israel-Hamas crisis in sight, protests continue in Tel Aviv against Israeli government's lax handling of the crisis. Amid rising border hostilities, Ukraine attacks oil storage depot in Russia's Belgorod. Active shooter near Kentucky Highway opened fire on vehicles traveling a rural stretch. Authorities identify the suspect. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold discussions with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Al Nahyan to meet on wide range of issues. Crown Prince to also call on President Draupadi Murmu. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will attend the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting, also expected to hold bilateral meetings with counterparts from GCC member countries. Venezuela opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez granted asylum in Spain, vows to continue to fight for democracy. Mercado says his life was in danger in Venezuela. At least 48 people killed after a truck carrying travelers crashes head-on with a tanker in north-central Nigeria. In Pakistan, thousands of supporters of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan protest in Islamabad, call for his swift release. World number one Jannik becomes the first Italian to win the US Open, beats Taylor Fritz as US fans wait for the end of a 21-year drought continues. Protesters in Tel Aviv blocked traffic on Sunday as frustration mounted over the Israeli government's handing of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The demonstrations erupted after 6 hostages were brutally killed by Hamas last week, fueling public outcry. Thousands have taken to the streets demanding action. On Sunday, several hundred demonstrators gathered near the Israeli Defense Ministry, briefly halting traffic to amplify their demands. The tension is especially high for families like that of Matan Angrest, a 21-year-old Israeli soldier held by Hamas. His parents are calling on the government to act swiftly, fearing for his life and urging them to prevent any more deaths in Gaza. The situation grows increasingly tense as public pressure intensifies. In a video released on Sunday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant warned of political escalation with Hezbollah in Lebanon, signaling that Israel is preparing for intensified conflict in the north. Addressing Israeli troops, Gallant emphasized that the situation could shift rapidly, urging readiness for any developments along the northern front. He also reaffirmed Israel's commitment to eliminating Hamas and its leadership, specifically targeting Yahya Sinwar, who orchestrated the deadly October 7th attacks that ignited the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Gallant's statements came as tensions in the region rise, with Israel bracing for multiple fronts in its broader fight against militant groups.
In Gaza, we need to achieve our 2 goals, both to eliminate Hamas and to return the hostages, and we are on this matter with all our might. At the same time, we are looking at the entire war fronts, and this means that while you are fighting here in Gaza, we are preparing for anything that can happen in the north, and moving the center of gravity can be quick and can also include you on a short schedule, and we are prepared for all these possibilities.
The Israeli army released footage on Sunday showing what it described as strikes on Hamas targets in Gaza. The military operations, which have intensified in recent days, have claimed at least 61 lives, according to local medics. Israeli forces continue to battle Hamas across the Gaza Strip. Gaza's health ministry reported that since the conflict began on October 7th, at least 40,972 Palestinians have been killed, with another 94,761 injured in the ongoing offensive. The escalating violence has taken a heavy toll on the region, with airstrikes continuing as Israel targets Hamas strongholds in Gaza. An Israeli airstrike on a house in Jabalia on Sunday killed Mohammed Morsi, deputy director of the Gaza Civil Emergency Service in the northern areas of the Gaza Strip, and 4 of his family, health officials said. The Civil Emergency Service said in a statement that Morsi's death raised to 83 the number of its members killed by Israeli fire since October 7th. There was no immediate Israeli comment on Morsi's death. The Qatar Red Crescent and UNRWA have struck a $4.5 million agreement to support over 4,400 Palestinian workers and patients from Gaza stranded in the West Bank. With funds from Qatar's State Development Fund, the deal provides much-needed cash assistance to those unable to return home due to ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict since October. UNRWA's Commissioner General Philip Lazzarini emphasized on the plight of refugees separated from their families and livelihoods. Since Israel's blockade of Gaza in 2007, movement has been severely restricted, leaving many to seek medical care or jobs in the West Bank. Tensions flared along Russia-Ukraine border as Belgorod's governor reported that Ukrainian forces attacking a fuel depot sparked multiple fires. Regional Governor Gladkov said that several fuel reservoirs ignited after explosions, with firefighting teams battling the flames. He also confirmed drone strikes in 3 other areas, though no casualties were reported. Meanwhile, overnight air raids claimed 2 lives and injured 4 in Ukraine's Sumy region, according to officials. In Belgorod, 3 people were hurt and homes and cars were damaged. Russia's defense ministry stated that it intercepted 2 Ukrainian drones over Belgorod and destroyed another over the Kursk region. The attacks come amid rising border hostilities, with each side blaming the other for the escalation of violence. In a significant development, Russian forces have claimed full control of Novorodivka, a key town in eastern Ukraine, as they push closer to a strategically vital city of Pokrovsk. Now, this move marks a critical stage in Moscow's efforts to break through Ukraine's defenses in the Donbas region, which Russia has sought to control since 2022. The capture of Novorodivka, located just 12 kilometers from Pokrovsk, threatens a crucial rail and road hub for Ukrainian forces. Despite this, Ukraine's military reported intense fighting in the area, repelling 29 Russian advances and continuing 7 skirmishes. As the battle of eastern Ukraine escalates, both sides are locked in a struggle to maintain their positions amid heavy clashes. Kentucky authorities were searching a remote, heavily wooded area on Sunday for a suspected gunman who opened fire on vehicles traveling a rural stretch of Interstate 75 a day earlier. Officials named Joseph Couch as a suspect after discovering a car registered to him parked on a service road near the shooting site. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office said that a rifle case was received from the vehicle and an AR rifle was found near the car. Authorities also urged residents to stay away from the site of the manhunt as search teams scoured a rugged, rocky area near the interstate where they believe the gunman was contained. Mourners held a vigil in Georgia on Sunday after a 14-year-old boy killed 2 fellow students and 2 teachers and wounded 9 others in a shooting at a high school. Colt Gray, an Appalachian student, has been charged as an adult with 4 counts of murder. Prosecutors have also charged Gray's father, Colin, who faces up to 180 years in prison if convicted of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. They allege he provided the weapon to his son. Now, according to media reports, mother of the suspect contacted his school to warn of an extreme emergency and asked them to check on her son on the day of attack. Google faces its second major antitrust trial in less than a year on Monday, with the US government accusing the tech giant of dominating online advertising and stifling competition. The trial in a federal court in Northern Virginia follows a separate case where a judge last month found Google's search business to be an illegal monopoly. This new battle, also brought by the US Department of Justice, focuses on ad technology, the complex system determining which online ads people see and their cost. The US government specifically alleges that Google controls the market for publishing banner ads on websites, including those of many creators and new providers. US plane maker Boeing has averted a possible strike after reaching a tentative labor deal with the union representing more than 32,000 workers in the US Pacific Northwest. Now, this is the latest in a series of labor negotiations that brought double-digit wage increase despite a tight labor market and stubborn inflation. If approved, the proposed 4-year contract, which includes a general wage increase of 25% and commitment to build the next commercial airplane in the Seattle area, is an important win for new Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, who took over last month with a mandate to turn around quality at the plane maker, an issue that a deal with Labour could help. The first full Labour deal in 16 years would also include better retirement benefits and giving the union greater input in the safety and quality of the production system. And now we get to updates related to weather from across the world. Thousands of diaspora Indians, in fact, or we'll get to more on that. Before we'll quickly get to more on Typhoon Yagi. Or before we get to more on Typhoon Yagi, we will tell you about the protests that are being held in the Indian city of Kolkata in the Indian state of West Bengal. Thousands of diaspora Indians protested in more than 130 cities across 25 countries on Sunday to demand justice for the trainee doctor who was raped and murdered last month at the R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata on August 9. The protest started in large and small groups across Japan, Australia, Taiwan and Singapore before spreading to cities in Europe and the US. A suspect has been arrested along with the former principal of R.G. Kar Medical College, where the victim was studying. And now we take a look at weather stories from across the world. We'll get you more on Typhoon Yagi. This is Asia's most powerful storm this year, and it was downgraded to a tropical depression on Sunday after wreaking havoc in northern Vietnam. According to the authorities, the typhoon and subsequent landslides and floods killed 24 people in Vietnam and injured 229 after claiming lives of 4 people on the southern Chinese island of Hainan and 20 in the Philippines. In Morocco, torrential rains have caused floods that killed at least 11 people in southern provinces of Tata, Tiznit and Eraqidia. Morocco's Interior Ministry spokesman said that 9 were missing in flooding caused by an exceptional climate phenomena in the southern areas. According to the authorities, the floods also destroyed 40 homes and damaged 93 roads, as well as electricity, water supply and phone networks were disrupted. In Romania, the violent vegetation fire in Maramureș has consumed hundreds of hectares of forest and agricultural land. At least 90 people had to be evacuated as more than 500 hectares of land and several buildings were damaged by the fire. A fire services spokesperson said that 250 local firefighters were battling the blazes alongside 40 firefighters from neighboring countries. Brazilians living along the Amazon's riverbanks struggle to access water amid a drought in the rainforest. They are being forced to rely on outside sources of drinking water. Brazil's Geological Service says with no rainfall forecast for the region, water levels will continue to drop. The Brazilian Geological Service has warned that all rivers in the Amazon basin were expected to drop below their historical levels. In the northern Indian state of Rajasthan, heavy rainfall caused several waterlogging incidents in many parts of Ajmer, leading to major traffic disruptions. Commuters faced difficulties as vehicles were submerged and key routes were impacted by flooding from the rainwater. The weather department has forecast more rain in the coming days, adding to concerns about further flooding. You're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, we will update you about the markets as Tokyo's Nikkei index sheds 3% in early trade today. The summer sporting extravaganza comes to an end with the conclusion of Paris Paralympics. India ends the campaign at the 18th spot with record 29 medals. Russia's Bolshoi Theatre launches new season celebrating Russian culture.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour, and now we get to updates from the world of business. The 54 GST Council meeting will be held in the national capital on Monday. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will chair the meeting. The last GST Council meeting was held in June this year, in which the Council had recommended a uniform rate of 12% GST on all steel, iron and aluminium milk cans. The Council had also recommended that services provided by the Indian Railways to the common man, including the sale of platform tickets, facility of retiring rooms and waiting rooms, and battery-operated car services will not attract any GST. In India, domestic equity indices took their losing run to the fifth straight day on Monday as weaker than expected jobs data in the US stoked fears of a slowing US economy, sending stocks lower globally. The BSE Sensex fell 0.21%, while the NSE Nifty fell 0.22%. On Friday, the Indian benchmark Sensex fell by more than 1,000 points and the Nifty dropped below 24,900, with declines driven by banking and IT stocks amid ongoing uncertainty about the Federal Reserve interest rate cut. Asian markets stumbled on Monday after another batch of worse than expected US jobs data revived fears about a possible recession in the world's top economy. The big miss in the August non-farm payrolls reading was compounded by heavily revised down figures for the previous 2 months and ramped up bets on a Fed interest rate cut next week. In early Asian trade, Tokyo was among the worst hit as a stronger yen weighed on exporters, while Hong Kong, Shanghai, Sydney, Seoul, Taipei and Wellington were also well down. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve policymakers on Friday signaled that they are ready to kick off a series of interest rate cuts at the US Central Bank's meeting in 2 weeks. Fed says they are noting a cooling in the labor market that could accelerate into something more dire in the absence of a policy shift. Their remarks were widely seen as endorsing a 0.25 percentage point reduction in the Fed's policy rate. Traders expect Fed's first move to be 25 basis point cut during its meeting scheduled for September 17th and 18th. From business, we now turn focus to sports. In tennis, world number 1 Jannik produced a brilliant display of baseline power as he became the first Italian man to win the US Open with a win over American Taylor Fritz in the final on Sunday. World number 1 Sinner has secured his second Grand Slam title of 2024, shattering American hopes of a first male champion at the majors in 21 years. Sinner secured a powerful 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 victory over Fritz. He was under a cloud of controversy at the start of the tournament, but avoided a ban when an independent tribunal accepted his claim. The 23-year-old broke from a 6th time in the contest to wrap up the win, with Fritz swiping a forehand into the net on match point. The Paris Paralympics 2024 came to an enthralling end on Sunday night with a spectacular closing ceremony at Stade de France. Some 24 French DJs, including electronic music pioneer Jean-Michel Jarre, as well as Cassius, played in the final part of the event. 169 delegations representing 168 national Paralympic committees took part in the closing ceremony. During the athlete parade, India were represented by Harvinder Singh and Preeti Pal as the flag bearers. The Paralympic flag was officially handed over to Karen Bass, mayor of Los Angeles, that will host the 2028 Games. President of India, Draupadi Murmu on X expressed her contentment with the remarkable achievement of the Paralympic contingent at Paris Paralympics 2024. She said, and I quote her, she said, "I'm extremely pleased with the superlative feats of the Indian contingent in Paris Paralympic Games 2024. The medal tally of 29 in Paris alone is nearly half of the 60 medals won by India in all its 13 games so far. In its 11 Paralympics till 2016, India had won 12 medals. India's performance at Tokyo Paralympics 2020 marked a quantum jump with 19 medals. It has gone up by 10 more at Paris. In this moment of special pride, I join the families, coaches, nutritionists, and all the persons and institutions who stood by our Paralympic participants. The stories of every medal winner and other players in Team India need to be told and retold to celebrate their undying spirit amidst crisis. This will inspire the nation, especially our youth. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the India para contingent for their exceptional performance at the Paris Paralympics 2024. He said, and I quote him, "Paralympics 2024 have been special and historical. India is overjoyed that our incredible para-athletes have brought home 29 medals, which is the best ever performance since India's debut at the Games. This achievement is due to the unwavering dedication and indomitable spirit of our athletes. Their sporting performances have given us many moments to remember and inspired several upcoming athletes." Defending champions India begin their campaign in the Asian Champions Trophy with a dominating 3-0 victory over the hosts China. India took an early lead against China in the first quarter as Jugraj Singh's brilliant pass found Sukhjit Singh, who made no mistake to put India ahead. The lead was doubled in the second quarter when Uttam Singh unleashed a powerful shot past the Chinese goalkeeper. Indian deaf shooters were welcomed with drums and garlands at the Indira Gandhi International Airport after winning 20 medals at the World Deaf Championship 2024 in Hanover, Germany. India finished at the second spot behind Ukraine, winning 7 golds, 7 silvers and 6 bronze medals. Abhinav Deswal won 5 medals while Mahit Sandhu won 4 medals. Parents of these shooters were very happy and proud of their awards for bringing glory to the nation. The World Deaf Shooting Championship 2024 was held from August 29 to September 8. This championship featured 14 events in which a total of 69 participants from 16 countries took part in the championship, with India having the second highest number of participants. And now we get you news from Toronto Film Festival. Movie fans lined up for hours at the Toronto premiere of the Korean film Harbin to catch a glimpse of their favorite Korean stars Lee Jong-wook and Hyun Bin. The historical drama tells the story of a resistance army fighting against Japanese rule in Korea. Director Woo Min-ho's film is gaining international attendance and attention, with its stars contributing to the global popularity of Korean culture. Red carpet appearances by the actors delighted waiting fans at the event. Russia's renowned Bolshoi Theatre celebrates Russia's culture. The theatre has launched the new season in Moscow with a ballet performance of Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty, a return to Russia's classic composers. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.